How many of you know that our premier in the province and his cabinet are under tremendous pressure from the media to lock everything down for another 28 days? I've talked to business people who've said, I don't know if my business will make it. If we lock down another 2 days, or another 28 days, another 2 weeks, I don't know if my business is going to make it. I was talking to a pastor this week, and this pastor said that he had talked to someone that he knows in business, and this man said to him, my business has lost $450,000 in the last 8 months because of lockdowns. And literally the man was saying, I'm scared if it happens again, I'll go out of business. And so there's a couple of things we're going to do this morning. First thing I want you to do is I want you to take out your phone. I got a text, take out your phone. Everybody has one nowadays. And Sherry, can you put up that, I want you to email someone this morning. I got a text while we were in service from someone saying that their sister-in-law lives 2 doors down from Jason Kenney, knows that they're Christians, and said to him, Jason said to them yesterday, said, can you please get Christians to pray because of the pressure that we're under to lock this thing down. The rumor has it that it will start tomorrow. So what she said was, let's send him emails to tell him, come on, we're standing with you. Stand up to this. The truth about the actual number of cases and deaths and all of that is coming out more and more clearly from more and more voices. Have you got that, Sherry? It's loading, okay. Because what I want you to do is we're going to send him a quick email from everybody here. I've sent it to another pastor in another church who has an MLA from Alberta in his church. And we're going to support our premier. He's been resisting and resisting this, just going along with the things, the Kool-Aid that everybody else seems to be drinking about, we just have to shut everything down. And he's been standing and saying it'll cost too much. It'll cost our economy too much. So would you just take that right now, and just right now, right in church, here in the morning, let's be salt, okay? And send him an email that says, Dear Premier, something like this, we're standing with you against the lockdowns. If you're watching online on your computer or something like that, I encourage you to do the same thing. If you're watching online, just grab your phone, something like that, because if he gets hundreds and hundreds of emails today, it might just help. We want to let him know that the church is behind him, that we're standing strong. So just a real simple one-liner. It's all he needs. Dear Premier, we're standing with you. Please don't lock things down. We're praying for you. Mr. Kenney stood in this pulpit almost 20-some years ago as the head of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and I just felt it was a leading of the Lord that he was supposed to come and share something, so he got up and shared for 10 minutes, and little knowing that one day he would be the premier of our province, and was raised in church and believes in God and believes in the power of prayer. So it's time for the church to start to stand up. Amen? Don't make it a real long one. If you make it a real long one, it probably won't get read. Dear Mr. Premier, just want you to know we're standing with you against further lockdowns. We're praying for you. How many of you in here, just by show of hands, have had, you have a business or the business that you work at has taken a hit since the lockdowns happened? Just let me see your hands. That's like 25% of us, yeah. That's happening, of course, all across the province. Somebody said, why are you doing this? Aren't you supposed to preach the gospel? I got to say it again, because if pastors and spiritual leaders don't speak to the issues of the nation from a biblical worldview, how will we know which way to go? How will we know which way to follow? For those of you who may not know or understand, The original projections of what COVID-19 was going to do in our nation, in our province, and in the world have not come anywhere near what was originally expected. Unfortunately, the media has taken the number of cases rather than taking the number of hospitalizations and deaths, which is absolutely minimal, less than 1.5% of people that get it. 98% of them, over 98% of them recover. So what you're hearing in the media is this big push, this big push, this big push, but they're not reporting the actual number of deaths, the number of fatalities. Again, today, statistics were sent to me this morning while I'm sitting there in worship, that the average age of death is 82 years of age, and that a highest percentage, over 80% of the people that die from that have at least two susceptibilities or comorbidities, many of them three. So the general populace, somebody told me this, I haven't verified it yet. I heard a doctor say this week. He said that the probability of somebody under 60 dying of COVID-19 in Alberta is 1 in 300,000. So all of a sudden, we're starting to get the numbers and the data over the last 8 months of the truth of what's actually happening behind the scenes. And one of the things that churches have to stand for is we have to stand for truth. And you know what? I don't like using my pulpit for doing this probably any more than you do hearing it. But it's interesting to me that we sang the song this morning. It made me think of it, whether it was a song or not, but in Ezekiel with the dry bones coming together. And you know what was interesting when the dry bones come together? It says that when they stood up, they were an exceedingly great bride.